Our scripture reading this morning is Exodus 23, 1 through 12. Ye shall not spread a false report. You shall not join hands with the wicked to act as a malicious witness. You shall not follow a majority into wrongdoing. When you bear witness in a lawsuit, you shall not side with the majority so that to pervert justice, nor shall you be partial to the poor in a lawsuit. When you come upon your enemy's ox or donkey going astray, you shall bring it back. When you see the donkey of one who hates you struggling under its burden, and you would hold back from setting it free, you must help to set it free. You shall not pervert the justice that is due to the poor in their lawsuits. Keep far from false charge. And do not kill the innocent and those in the right, for I will not acquit the guilty. You shall take no bribe, for a bribe blinds officials and subverts the cause of those who are in the right. You shall not oppress a resident alien, for you know the heart of an alien, for you were aliens in the land of Egypt. 6 years you shall sow your land and gather its yield, but the 7th year you shall let it rest and lie fallow, so that the poor of your people may eat, and what they leave the wild animals might eat. You shall do the same with your vineyard and with your olive orchard. 6 days you shall do your work, but on the 7th day you shall rest, so that your ox and your donkey may find relief, your homeborn slave and the resident alien might be refreshed. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Today's scripture talks about not lying. Not lying. Not taking bribes. Not oppressing the poor. Respecting immigrants. Then it talks about rest. Letting the ground rest. Letting the animals rest. And it seems that to do that, we have to let ourselves rest. Maybe God knew we would be bad at taking time off. So God said, come on, do it for the animals. The idea of rest, the idea of Sabbath, has been part of our biblical story since chapter 1, back in Genesis. God creates for 6 days and then rests. God works for 6 days, rests, and tells us to do the same. Sabbath, rest. Makes it into Genesis, the first book, makes it into Exodus, the second book. As far as topics to be covered goes, it's 2 for 2. Must be important. Exodus is a little different context though, right? Genesis, God's doing all the work and God rests. We're created in the image of God, so we do it because it's good for us. Genesis has the self-care piece. Exodus takes a little different tack to it. All those rules, honesty, integrity, ethics towards our neighbors, disagreements and lawsuits, admonishment about immigrants and refugees, and the rest lead to rest. Let it rest. Let the land rest. Let the animals rest. Even let the people you're oppressing rest. Let all creation rest. Maybe God knew that we would be much better at all that earlier stuff in chapter 23 if we stopped and rested. That if we centered ourselves, if we were not exhausted. Think of it like one of the Snickers commercials. Someone's acting ridiculously. Someone gives them a Snickers, and suddenly they're not hangry anymore, and the ridiculousness goes away. We do horrible things to each other. We make bad decisions for ourselves and for our neighbors. We tend to oppress one another. We take advantage of one another. And then we take a nap and eat something and rest, and everything gets better. We're not theologically hangry anymore. It's easy to get caught up in the moment, to go with the majority caught up in groupthink. It's easy to follow our anger or fear or someone else's anger and fear when we're tired. It's easier to cling to what has been even if it was hurtful. It's easier to give in, to give up. It's easier to those who are demanding what they want all the time. It's easier for all of those things when we're tired. When we're tired. Sabbath is not just about the body, though. It's not just about stopping the body. It's rest for the spirit, for the mind, for the whole person. We live in a world of constant change, and change is traumatic. We know that traumatic events take a toll on the whole person. Fight or flight energy fills the body and leaves us feeling wrecked. Emotions try to make meaning of what's happening, but often just wear us out from the inside. Logistical evaluations, discernment, decision-making. It's exhausting. Using logic just wears us out. It's like a triathlon of the human condition. Every time we watch the news, every time we get an alert on our phone, every time we try to navigate complicated relationships, every time we think about so many things that we've been trying to avoid so hard for so long, we get stuck running at a pace that's pulling us apart. We get stuck spinning in circles while praying for progress out of it. We get stuck in our own heads, in our own fears, in our own mistakes, in our own regrets. We just get stuck. Stuck in the hurts of the past, stuck in abusive cycles, stuck in the cereal aisle at the grocery, staring at some familiar character on a box, remembering some moment from years ago, wondering if we should have handled it better, wondering if we'd handled that better, would everything else up to this moment have been much better, and then remembering cereal's not even on the daggone shopping list. Why am I standing in this aisle? I'm just tired. I don't need Cocoa Pebbles. I need a nap and a vacation. I need some Sabbath. I need some rest so I'm not just wandering through the aisles, banging my cart into people, hoping something will change. Banging my life into others, hoping they'll change. Colliding, chaotically rambling forward at a pace I no longer can map, hoping something will change. Instead of stopping, we can get stuck. We can get stuck. Sometimes our brains just want to shut down. Sometimes our bodies join the fight and do just shut us down. A lot of time, physical ailments we face are trauma energy we didn't take time for, so our body just stops us. Brian Wilson is one of my favorite singer-songwriters out there. He shares these thoughts on one of his older albums. You ever wonder why you get a cold? Just look at the word and spell it. C-old, cold. You're pulled over by the reaper for a warning. He says, I clocked you thinking 80, but you know you're not that old. You've been worried about the darkness in the morning. Well, I'll give you something to worry about, he says. He flips open his ticket pad. Appreciate your breathing. I'm going to write you up for a headache. And those thoughts? Now, why have you been so worried? What have you been reading? And why do you have to tally all day all that you've lost? I'm going to write you up for a head cold. It comes on like bad weather. So maybe you'll appreciate the warming. Gives a new perspective. Soon, you'll be feeling better. Maybe rather than waiting on our bodies to shut us down, it would be easier just to take this Sabbath thing seriously. Before the cold, before the grocery store breakdown, before we blow up on a loved one, before we break down, before we sell out. before we forget who we are, before we do damage to our neighbor, to the world, to ourselves. Maybe it would be easier just to take Sabbath seriously. For some of us, that's easier said than done. Some of us are working so hard just to make ends meet, to keep our head above water. Some are working so hard to avoid meeting those waiting for us back at home. Some of us are just working to stay one step ahead of the painful memories that we put back in a box, shoved in a closet, and keep falling off, tumbling into our laps. Some of us are just wired in a way where rest feels impossible. For some of us, rest feels like a fantasy. It's science fiction. But when Sabbath feels the most distant, it's often the most needed. When Sabbath feels the most distant, it's often the most needed. So let's take a moment to practice. Yes, practice. Years ago, when we started using the language of love is love in this church, we said love is love, church is where we practice. It was way too much text for the website. It was just overwhelming to the eye. But the concept remains. Love is love, but love takes practice. And this is a good place to practice loving ourselves, so that our fields, our animals, and the people we normally dump our stuff on can also get a break. So let's just take a moment and breathe. Seriously, that's it. That's all I'm asking. We'll start out with something easy. Just breathe in and out. I'm not going to oppress you by controlling your pace. I hate it when people do that to me. Breathe at your own pace. Take it in. When you're ready, let it out. Just take a moment to breathe. You don't have to do anything else. Many years ago, I began an after-school program for junior high kids with meditation. 15 to 20 junior high kids in a confined basement room with no windows, and this included sixth grade boys. Imagine the energy in that vibrating space. We taught them a practice that Buddhists use, process of just breathing out. I've shared this with you all before. This is one of the practices that Sandy and I have both learned over the years. Just breathe out. Nothing else. No thinking aloud. Don't close your eyes. That's called sleeping. Find something boring to look at that's not going to distract you. A wall, a chair, the minister, whatever you're used to not paying attention to. Just breathe out. Just breathe out. Don't worry about the responsibilities that come to your mind. They'll be there when we're done. If you have thoughts that are in your mind, just push them aside. If they're important, they'll come back. If not, you didn't need it. If sounds are bothering you, just turn the volume down. Just breathe out. Just breathe out. I will point out that none of you fell over for a lack of breathing in. Your body knew to do it on its own. You didn't have to tell it. There's so many things we don't have to control. We can just let them happen. One of the 8th grade girls at the end of our first year doing this exercise told me that that was her favorite 5 minutes. Yes, we get up to 5 minutes of silence to open every Wednesday afternoon with medicated 6th grade boys. And none of them made fart sounds during it. It was miracles every week. One of the 8th grade girls told me it was her favorite 5 minutes of any week because it's the only time all week long no one expected anything of her. It was her only Sabbath. 5 minutes a week. What's interesting is science tells us that 5 minutes of meditation like that is equal to the body as a 30-minute nap. Efficiency, folks. The data nerds can get on board with meditation. This is what Sabbath is about. Making time and space in our hearts, that our hearts might heal, that our souls might be replenished, our bodies and our brains can get on the same page and sync themselves. All those responsibilities are still going to be there when we're done. All those demands from the world will still be there. All those pictures of cats and all those political posts we feel compelled to share, they're still going to be there later. But it's later. It's later. Over the years, I've tried to take Monday as a day off in the life of the church, mostly because I was working until the last 10 years in educational ministry. Lots of Sunday night stuff. Also, lots of things that are volunteer-driven. So if people were excited about something on Sunday and they were still excited on Tuesday, I thought they might actually follow through. They had some Sabbath in there to sort it out. If somebody was really mad about something on Sunday, if some parents really ticked off about what their kid said that I said, that somebody else said that wasn't even what somebody said, if they're still hyped up on it on Tuesday, we'll sit and listen. But a lot of stuff just went away on Monday. It's like we breathed in and breathed out and everything was okay. Sabbath is for us, it's for a community, it's for all of us. It's practice resting. Love is love. Church is where we practice. Love includes resting for ourselves and so that we treat each other better. It's part of the practice. But sometimes it takes practice. We have to do things intentionally to get into a routine. So I'm going to give you another one to practice. Are you ready? And this is fun because I get to see you, but don't worry, you're not on camera. The camera will only see my version of this, not yours. So don't be insecure. Are you ready? Jessica's giving me a dirty look, and Jimena looks at me like she's not fond of this exercise. This is always fun to see people's faces. I've not even said what it is yet, and you guys are already lining up. I'm not doing this Sabbath thing. He's already talking about embarrassing myself. Breathing was easy, right? This is not any harder, I promise. First phase, I want you to scrunch your face as tightly as you can, and then relax it. Scrunch it as tight as you can, and relax it. Now shrug your shoulders up as tight as you can. Clench your shoulders and relax. Do it again. Clench them up, all the way up to the neck, and then relax it. Now inward like you're a bodybuilder. Flex it into your chest. Clench those pecs and your shoulders all together and relax. Do it again and relax. Now you're going to do the same thing with your butt. Squeeze those glutes and relax. Do it again. Relax. It's all right. Jonathan does it when he giggles, so it works fine. Now I want you to extend your legs like you were lifting something really, really heavy in front of you. Bring it up, hold it. It's really, 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 really heavy. Now relax it. Now I want you to bend your legs back the other way like you were literally holding the seat of your chair in its place. Tighten them. I'm not doing it because I would fall. Tighten them, and relax. Now clench your feet. Ball your toes. Make a fist out of your foot. Ball them up in your shoes or your sandals. And relax. And then do it again. And relax. How you feel? See, that didn't take very long. You're going to have to sit and listen to me here anyway. It's not rocket science, but it does take some intentionality. Years ago, I thought my ADHD meant that I couldn't do Sabbath very well. And it was partially true. Meds have helped me. Practicing meditations helped me. One of my mentors said, you get to meetings on time just fine when your phone tells you to be there. Maybe your phone could tell you to take a rest. She was 80 when she told me this. And this was 20 years ago. Technology. She had a grasp of it that I didn't have, and I was supposed to be the young tech-enthused person. So I started putting alerts on my phone. In the ancient world, they did prayer cycle every 3 hours. When you hear about the disciples in the scriptures praying at the appointed hour, it was every 3 hours in the Jewish cycle. Our Muslim friends keep this cycle still, hours of prayer during the day. Every 3 hours during Lent, I have the chimes on my phone, or in times in my life when I feel like things have gotten chaotic and I need to be centered, I'll turn those chimes on, 9 a.m., noon, 3, 6, and 9, and it just chimes a little chime. I put a gentle ringtone. I didn't put a big alarm on it. Just a da-da-da-da-da. And I ask myself, am I being the best person I can be? Am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I being responsible for my time and my place? Am I loving as I've been loved? Sometimes it calls me to accountability. Sometimes it affirms, yeah, I'm doing good. Other times I think, oh crap, I'm supposed to pick my kids up. Which, by the way, in my life history is one of the things that motivated that in the first place. For some of us, we just need to be reminded to take a Sabbath. We need to make it a practice, make it an intentional routine. We need to have our technology tell us to do it. We need to tell our loved ones to do it. Make it. We get accountability partners for walking and jogging and dieting and everything else, right? Get you a Sabbath partner. For some of us, rest is a nap. For others, it's a canvas, a journal, or a keyboard. For some, it's in a song or a poem or a walk. For others, it's with a friend, or maybe it has to be all alone with God. However your head and your heart come together is Sabbath. Do it. However your body and brain find soothing and find a way to get synced together, do it. Our last verse of Scripture tells us, 6 days you shall not work, but on the seventh day you shall rest, so that your ox and your donkey may have relief. And those who you oppressed, I'll put them all in one category, shall be refreshed. Here's my translation. Are you ready? Rest your ass so you don't have a cow. Sit down so you stop stepping on each other. Whatever motivates you to love yourself, do it. And you will be amazed at how much easier it is to love God and our neighbor.